2 years ago, I made an analysis video called The Saddest Nine Inch Nails Song, and it was about leaving hope. But the truth is, there is another saddest Nine Inch Nails song. Starting with the intro, it sets the tone. It's like cinema. Rain and this very hollow, echoey, kind of lost melody or scale slowly rises up out of the rain. This lonely search goes all the way up to F sharp. And in this part of the song, our home is B. And you can hear that sense of resolution. So something's been found, and it lands right on the beat that the verse starts.
Please don't carry the sound. Maybe I'll disappear. Tracks will fade in the snow. You won't find me here.
And I want to talk about the timing first, because it's not your typical time signature. It's 7/8. So it's quicker pulses, and there's only 7 of them before the bar repeats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Please don't carry the sound.
And you could count it in 2 different ways. You go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
You won't find me here.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 4. I love thinking about this kind of thing. When you have an odd time signature, you could think of it as you've lost something or you've gained something. So in this case, you could think of it as your typical bar 4/4, which has 8 eighth notes, but you're missing one. The other way is that it's like 6/8, but you've added one. But this gives it a kind of a dreamy, floaty, ungrounded sensation listening to it. The instrumentation is so gentle and so subtle, and there are no dynamic changes in the verse whatsoever. And it makes it feel a little bit like numbed out. It's really not clear in my body if this is sadness and loneliness, or if it's dreaming of something nice, playing back a good happy time, or lying in a field of soft grass and looking at the tree above you. It really, all I can say is that it feels kind of liminal. So in terms of how this is all achieved, there's a pulse. There's always a pulse in this entire song. It never stops. So its heartbeat is pulsing on that 8th note. It's more in this range. There's not a lot of heavy bass yet. It comes in later, but that also gives it this floating kind of in-between limbo feeling. You're not really grounded. So I think I'm hearing at least 2 guitars. There could be more. So one of them, I think, is pulsing on these 2 notes, creating this perfect 5th. And I've heard other compositions of Trent Reznor's that have sort of a persistent 5th while things move around. Like this is stuck where it is when everything else is changing, like Hurt. So I think I hear that. And then there is a guitar, I think, that is playing both sort of a kind of a root note of the chord as well as a melody. This little da na Always pulsing. Every chord felt unstable. Every chord felt like it was searching for something. Not stable. And then this whole situation. A lot of different ways you can think about it, but there's always a little bit of dissonance and just lack of resolution. And then this is a suspension, which also lacks resolution. And then the beautiful third gets added, and then you get a minor ninth chord, which, The key center of this section could be interpreted in different ways. I feel a sense of coming home when I get to B. And the first note in the bass is B. And then I could see how someone might feel like that's home, but to me, it's this. And this is super nerdy, but that's kind of implying like a major 6 chord. And that chord feels like a dream. It's always felt like a dream to me. But because it's major, because it's home, there's a sense of comfort, I feel, in that moment. Danny Lohner is listed as a co-writer on this song on Wikipedia, but I'm very curious how much he contributed to the harmony of this song, because it doesn't always sound like classic Trent Reznor. So I'm just wondering if it's Danny's sense of harmony mixing with Trent's. Now for his vocal melody in the verse. This one, it moves a lot, has a pattern that with a variation. Da, 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 da. By pattern, I mean the rhythm and the contour of the melody. Like that is approximated with the next line, which is lower. It starts lower instead of and then he breaks form when he goes da, da, you won't find me here. I love that variation. So that's like an A, a B, an A, and a C, if you kind of think of the repetition pattern of the melody. His voice has processing on it, which is interesting because I don't think he often does in his productions. Sometimes there's some distortion maybe, or, some effects that makes him sound like, maybe some ring modulation and stuff. But this is like delay. There's not a lot of like atmospheric effects that he puts on his voice. So this is markedly different and just contributes to the dreamy quality. Then it goes into sort of a interlude, almost a false chorus. And one of the coolest things about this, I think, is it's both a foreshadowing of the chorus to come, and it is a remembrance of what just happened, which was the fragile. And this is considered sort of a continuation of the fragile.
And I descend from grace in arms of underdog. I will take my place in the great beyond.
So what just happened is implied harmony. every note in the bass really implies kind of a chord. In all that could have been, it would be 1, flat 3. I'll go over this in a second. Flat 6, 4. And then in the grade below, 1, flat 7, 4, flat 3. Now, a lot of people that have more training than me, they would look at those chord progressions and consider E to be the tonal center, and that's totally fine. A lot of music theory is honestly about human interpretation anyway. I just don't feel that to be like the home of either of those progressions. It feels like a transition element as opposed to the resolution. And also the minor key center just really hits home in my heart, so much more than a major key center would in this case. So I'm biased. Either way, you can see that there are some similarities. There's some similar chords. They both have an E major chord. Obviously, they both have a C sharp minor, and they both have an F sharp minor. The only difference is that there's a B in the great below, and there's an A in all that could have been. The great below and all that could have been. This is like what Tool fans do, but you love it.
Oh yeah, plus he actually sings all that could have been in the great below. So those songs are like so very linked. All right, continue. Studio Ixie.
Let's talk about why this is so beautiful, because it is so exquisite. It's like I love the whole song, but this might be my favorite part. So at first it's just a bass guitar and what I think is an electric piano of some kind. I know he was using a Nord back then. I kind of approximated it in my DAW with like a Wurlitzer and then like a cinematic piano, and I just kind of layered them. So this is playing the melody. Okay, the bass. So let's look at how they interact with each other. So right off the bat, this is called a major ninth, and it's an interval. It's like just one of those happy coincidences that Nine Inch Nails creator Trent Reznor seems to really like ninths. It's one of the most beautiful intervals in the world. It's just so incredible. It's dissonant but pleasing. It can take on so many flavors, but it's flavorful. It's always flavorful, I think. So in this case, it's really sad sounding, really, really forlorn and heavy, and it resolves. The reason it feels heavy is because it wants to resolve down more than anything. It can also go up, which is really hurty. And then this is like that major moment of relief. Everything's okay. And then my favorite, the flat 6, and look what happens. Oh, tritone. Tritone bliss. It's so sad. I was about to say so and sad at the same time, and so it was sad. So sad. And then it resolves. Oh my gosh, I'm going to tear up. So, as with this, tension, release. And same here. Tension, release. It's just a different kind of tension and release. Anyway, I live for that moment. And then, so instead of this creating a major moment, like everything's okay, with this note underneath it, it's things are definitely not okay. There's a lot of like heaviness, minorness, and incompletion. This is only possible when a composer has the courage to not change everything at once. Take a riff that you made and repeat it over different notes in the bass. You'll be surprised, I think, at how incredibly amazing some of those combinations are, and keep your favorites. I mean, you can write a whole song just with that kind of mechanism at play. So, repeating motif, changing context. It gives new meaning, just like the different bass line for that same melody from the great below. It feels a little bit different just because the notes underneath it are different, and they're creating new harmonic and emotional relationships. The second time around, a second bass guitar comes in, I think, and it sounds really deep. He goes, and then I can't hear this the second time around. I can't hear where he ends up. He's so far in the background, and it's just like, it feels like it's like that last bit of hope that you have, like dying, or like a part of your psyche that's like trying to be heard but can't. That's so beautiful. So he's singing this tense note again. And yeah, it's just a beautiful change. I also think there's like a really subtle, everything about this is subtle, a really subtle, like synth bell, like kind of bell like synth that is maybe playing this melody up an octave, and it only comes through every so often, but oh, it's so subtle. I might be making it up, but that whole section is so sparse that as I'm listening, I'm like, I swear I hear some little change. Every little change sticks out so much. I said that the key of the verse was kind of like B major. If I were to give a key to this section, it's definitely not B major. It feels nothing like it. In fact, there's no B chord at all. It feels like C sharp minor. After this false chorus, there's another verse, and there are some notable changes. There's now a glitchy, kind of halting, abstract drum beat. Has a lot of pairings. And there's a bass. Well, I should say, of course, there was always a bass guitar or two, but now there's either a synth bass, like a Reese synth bass, or a cello. Honestly, there's times when it sounds like an actual cello. I'm really not sure, but it's the same. I think it's the same sound used in Leaving Hope for the bass line, which is very prominent in that song. Here, it's kind of more buried, but that gives a little bit more sub info. It feels a lot deeper and heavier. And that's good because it supports the drums.
I know you tried to rescue
The other very notable difference is the new melody of the verse. I know you tried to rescue me. So gorgeous for lots of reasons. He goes into his falsetto, which I just always love his falsetto so much. I think it's like really, really pretty. And, it does sound more vulnerable. Major chord. So there's this do 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 do, that contour, do 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 do. It goes down, it goes up, it goes down. I really love that. It's just so cool. And then it comes up and resolves. But this time up, and this time when it goes up, it hits this note, and you get a ninth again. And that's where you're left. I love it. Leave me there. And all that could have been. That descent is so sad.
Please take this and run far away from me.
On bin. Could have been. There's this delay on bin, but they like turn the feedback up so it gets more and more of a present loud echo as time goes on. And this is a beautiful transition into the chorus. So like I said, if this all feels like a dream or something's not real about it, and then this is the like shocking push into reality. And this reality is the chorus, and it's dry. I mean, at least comparatively, it's dry and it's so much more grounded sounding, stable. It doesn't have that drift. It's in 4/4 and it has kit drums and it has just all of this foundation. The dryness also just makes it feel like real life. Still have the same eighth note pulse though, right? It's still going. Instrumentation. Drums, primal, heavy, toms. And then as they develop, right? So not syncopated whatsoever. Just they're gut punching, you know? Everyone just feels like, ah. There's also this kind of boxy sounding guitar that is, well, there's actually, I think, multiple guitars, but there's one that's sort of doing, I think, like, while the bass changes. So I'll add this. Sorry, forgot what key we were in. Oh yeah, so we're back in the C sharp minor key. Let me play along.
Please take this and run far away from me. I am tainted. Two of us were never meant to be.
Could hear right there that this other guitar comes in, this, you know, kind of sort of whining, wailing guitar. I think everything is pulsing, everything, but this one has so much distortion that it's all kind of bleeding together. But on that E, and then later, I swear I hear two guitars and they're both playing this half step. So these two notes keep coming back over and over again. In the scale, this is the second and the third, and this is like this, to me, the saddest part of the minor scale. It's not flat six. That's the most mysterious part. This is sad. So I just think that's so beautiful. The flat six. Dissonance abounds. It's Nine Inch Nails. Dissonance. You can really hear that half step pulsing in the small interlude that leads into the bridge. Oof, it hurts, right? That's considered the most dissonant interval, I would say. Okay, now to the vocal melody. This is one of his finest. The speed at which he says what he needs to say is so much slower in the chorus than in the verse. There's a lot more fluidness and, you know, I know you tried to rescue me. Like each line is like right there, it just flows out. This is like pulling, like having to pull out of him. Please take this and run far away from me. That was one sentence, 4 bars, right? So I feel like the effect of that is like you're hanging on every single word with him. And you have to sit with the meaning of everything. mentioned ninths earlier, and I'm a glutton for ninths. I can't get enough. So there's a beautiful ninth that happens between his melody and the bass. So it starts out with just like the minor chord implication. Please, please. But then take this. It's that. And this whole thing implies an add 9 chord where you have the major chord and then you add the ninth to it. So pretty. God. And then run far away. This is really pretty. I love, I think it's this. It doesn't always do that. There's little variations he does. Often he comes down from this da 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 da, like just all the way down. Da 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 da. But the first time he actually goes far away from me. He has this little, I can't tell if he meant to do that or if he meant to just go from me, and he just like did a little from me, but it's really beautiful. I like to do a variation of his variation and go far away from me. It's not very melodic, but damn, does it sound pretty with the harmony. Because then you get another note from me. Anyway, and then I am tainted. Oof. Yeah, so I actually think that the star of the show is not the flat 6 chord, as much as I love it so much, and I hope that it's not offended by me saying this, but I think the star of the show is this E major chord, not the A. I just still love that moment, but it's it's that ninth. Maybe if there was a ninth on the flat 6, then it would be, a strong contender, but no. The ninths have won. That one just feels like my heart breaks every time he sings that. It's always like just a couple words because it's, take this or tainted, something that just sits there with you. Damaged is another one, right? I am damaged. In my nothing. Yeah, so I think we can blame it on the ninth for making us feel so bad. So good, so bad. So bad that it's good, though, There's some nice 7th action there. That's really pretty. The half step. This is sounding really cheesy now. I also love the variation, the promises and left behinds. And he has this beautiful little scoop on there. Promises and left behinds. I feel like that's so important because if you just sang it with a straight tone, it'd be like, and promises and left behinds. No, it has to have the scoop. Promises and left behinds. I'm not sure if it's called a scoop, actually. I don't know what that is, but my voice is going down. Promises. And like if I were to play on the piano. Little grace note. Left behind. That rhythm is so great. Da, 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 da. Yeah. So the scoop adds the rhythm. I just realized that. Without that scoop, it's just da 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 but da 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 da. The scoop adds the syncopation. And promises and left behinds is on the flat 6. So we still have to give credit where credit is due. Promises and left behinds. It's just there's a lot of 6th, 7ths. And then it falls down and hits that resolution. Anytime you have descending lines, it just feels like it's heavy, right? It feels maybe more serious. It feels less hopeful, right? It feels like you're falling. You're descending from grace. This, right, tension pushes us into the bridge, which is really cool. And it's very different than the rest of the song. It is also in a different time signature. So the pulse, these eighth note pulses, right? We had 7 in the verse, 2, 3, and then we had 8 in the chorus, and now we have 3, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So I would say 3/8, but it feels like a waltz. But that's how he's able to switch between these timings without much to do. Same pulse, it's just the length of the measures is different. So this is an instrumental bridge, acoustic guitars, electric guitars, and the bass. No drums as far as I can hear. So I bet you a guitar is probably playing some power chords. But up until here, maybe. The way I would describe these chords, probably F sharp major, and then like an A major, and then an E major, and then a B major over D sharp. And this is kind of an ambiguous key center. You could think of the F sharp as being the home. To me, it feels like E. But whatever floats your boat. And then, so the guitars, I think there might be some power chords happening. I think I might have heard like a... And then I think there was a suspension. Or no, sorry, that's on the A. And like maybe a power chord and then an E. But there's more and more notes added to the guitar parts as time goes on. If you listen at the end, I'll play it for you. There's so many notes in those chords. At least that's how it sounds. It sort of becomes like blurred. These chords don't exist in the same key together, and there's a lot of this like 4-1 and 4-1. So our ear is primed to hear that particular relationship in that way, like 4-1 or 1-5. These are like very, very standard chords that create these cadences that our ears recognize from just years and years of exposure and music just working that way. So it's kind of the Hey Joe effect, that like... Right? You don't really know where the tonal center is until the end, but you might even feel like there's a home somewhere in there before you get here. Like here. That kind of feels like home. It's not until here that you're like, oh wait, okay, I guess that's home. So there's a little of that feeling. But it's a very satisfying chord progression, isn't it? It's strong, it's bold, and it's louder. The instrumentation is just really confident. What I think maybe brings the pain back in is the guitar melody, which is electric. So many half-step movements and really capitalizing on the sliding. Right? This, dun, dun. There's our tritone again. Sharp 11 sound. tritone. I wonder if this is like the moment where he's imagining what could have been, like it's playing like in his mind. Then there's an interlude, and this is just like what we've heard many times in the song. It's the pulsing. Actually, I should mention that the strumming of the guitar is on the 16th. That's really pretty. Trent is whispering, and then it kind of turns into singing, and it ends on that gorgeous could have been, right? Which is just kind of rising up and pointing our ear towards what's coming. It's a transition element, but they put this like reverse, maybe reverb on it. So it kind of feels like, once again, we're like, it's not, something's not real about it. Like you get sucked back into reality. And the reality is when the pain isn't numb anymore. It's raw and it's exposed.
Could have been. Could have been.
There's another false chorus. It's different than the first one, the Great Below false chorus. This is the exposition of the... In my mind, I can just hear the instrumentation of the chorus without the melody, and just this haranguing you just won't stop. It's painful. It's so loud, and you notice that like there's not a lot of dynamic changes within sections, right? It's like either it's really quiet or it's pretty loud. You know, this is just, it's just, it feels a bit relentless, you know? And now you're forced to listen to it. It's not in the background anymore. It's not hidden. It's completely exposed. But this time, there's a vocal harmony. They're not the most Trenty harmonies either. So it's just cool to hear like a different side of him. So on Far Away, there's a far away, which is, I don't know what I would call this kind of harmony, but it's like a traditional harmony. It's like the most sensible harmony that someone would come up with. It sort of mimics the contour of the melody, and you're hitting chord tones, usually thirds and fourths and fifths. Far away, far as you can see, the bass. Far away, far as you can see. First, there's the and happiness and peace of mind were never meant for me. This moment's so intense because while he has sung much higher than this in the song, but it's the highest note he's sung in the chorus. And the break in pattern of descending from already a low place down, now it's descending from a high place. Sorry, I don't think it's all the way from but were never meant for me. So it's this like desperation, I feel like, of, you know, just the regret and the loss. And that happens on this chord. Never meant for me. Mm-hmm. Now on Promises and Left Behinds, he has a sixth above. Promises and Left Behinds. So great. He doesn't do a lot of this kind of harmony. So it's on the flat 6. Let's see. Promises and Left Behinds. Really, really pretty. A sixth is the inversion of a third. So that would be, sorry. And he didn't do that probably because it's too low. Promises and Left Behind. It probably wouldn't have sounded very good down there. A little bit like too tight of an interval and a low range, if you just take the harmony, which is down here, put it up an octave, voila, now you have sixth. Sorry. Approximately. There we go. So nice. And I think it goes one element for me, which I think you did before. Promises and left behind, if only I could see. And then the killer line, in my nothing, you meant everything to me. The contrast of those definitions, the nothing and the everything, and the rhyming as a result. But in my nothing is a really beautiful line, in my nothing. Three-part harmony. Everything. That's another rare occurrence. There you go. Just on everything. The first everything. It's like that last note, you can actually hear it ringing out. This song is so epic. I mean, I bet you, maybe writing the song might have come about, easily. It might have flowed right out of him. But I think the production must have taken a lot of work. There's so many details. There's so many sections. I mean, case in point, how long has this video been going on? So many sections. Different keys, different timings, different instrumentation choices, transitions, callbacks, so many melodies. Thank you so much for watching, but most importantly, thank you for waiting forever for this. And I have a treat for you. I'm releasing a piano cover of this song, and let me tell you, it was the hardest thing I've ever tried to cover. It was shockingly hard. I hope you'll go give it a listen. It'll be on streaming and on Bandcamp if you want to support me directly. I changed shirts because I wanted to show you that I have merch now. Y'all have been asking for t-shirts and things for years, and I was like, but I did it and actually had a really fun time doing it because I made these very artistic shirts to commemorate the album that I released, Decca. And there's a face on my back here too. Here's the back of this one. And it says ICSI, and that's my new ICSI logo. Isn't that cool? I hand drew it, and then a designer kind of massaged it into a real logo. Oh yeah, here's the back. Pretty cool. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.